Welcome to your German travel vocabulary lesson. Today's first German word is das Skigebiet. Pronunciation, das Skigebiet, meaning in English, ski area, ski resort, or skiing region. How to remember this word? Ski sounds like English ski. Gebiet means area or region. So das Skigebiet is simply the ski area or ski region. Memory trick. Imagine a big map with a circle around the mountains. That circled area is the Skigebiet, the area where you can go skiing. Example sentence. Das Skigebiet ist in Winter sehr beliebt. English translation. The ski area is very popular in winter. Next German word is der Strandurlaub. Pronunciation, der Strandurlaub, meaning in English, beach holiday or beach vacation. How to remember this word? Strand means beach, and Urlaub means holiday or vacation. Put them together, der Strandurlaub is your beach holiday. Memory trick. Picture yourself lying on the sand, and someone says, dieser Urlaub am Strand ist mein Strandurlaub. Example sentence. Wir machen im Sommer einen Strandurlaub in Spanien. English translation. In summer, we are going on a beach holiday in Spain. Next German word is die Küste. Pronunciation, die Küste, meaning in English, coast or coastline. How to remember this word? Die Küste is the land next to the sea. Think of cliffs, beaches, and small towns along the water. Memory trick. Küste sounds a bit like coast. Imagine a map. You draw a line along the sea. That is die Küste. Example sentence. An der Küste gibt es viele kleine Fischerdörfer. English translation. There are many small fishing villages on the coast. Next German word is der Sand. Pronunciation, der Sand, meaning in English, sand. How to remember this word? Der Sand looks almost like the English word sand. Same letters, just a different article. Memory trick. Imagine writing the word sand in the sand on the beach. The word and the object are the same. Example sentence. Die Kinder spielen im Sand am Strand. English translation. The children are playing in the sand on the beach. Next German word is die Strandpromenade. Pronunciation, die Strandpromenade, meaning in English, beach promenade or seafront walkway. How to remember this word? Strand means beach. Promenade is similar to the English word promenade, a place for walking. So die Strandpromenade is the walkway along the beach. Memory trick. Picture a long path next to the sea, with cafes and shops. That nice walking street is die Strandpromenade. Example sentence. Abends spazieren wir auf der Strandpromenade. English translation. In the evening, we walk on the beach promenade. Next German word is der Urlaubsgruß. Pronunciation, der Urlaubsgruß, meaning in English, holiday greeting or vacation greeting. How to remember this word? Urlaub means holiday or vacation. Gruß means greeting. Together, Urlaubsgruß is a greeting from your holiday. Memory trick. Imagine sending a postcard from the beach. Liebe Grüße aus dem Urlaub. That is your Urlaubsgruß. Example sentence. Ich schicke meinen Freunden einen Urlaubsgruß vom Strand. English translation. I send my friends a holiday greeting from the beach. That concludes our travel vocabulary lesson. Auf Wiedersehen.
Welcome to your German vocabulary lesson. Today's German word is der Zeitpunkt. Pronunciation, der Zeitpunkt, meaning in English, the point in time, the moment. How to remember this word? Zeit means time, and Punkt means point. Translation, the time for our meeting is tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Next German word is
Der Terminkalender. Pronunciation, der Termin Kalender, meaning in English, appointment calendar, schedule diary, planner. How to remember this word? Termin means appointment, Kalender means calendar. So Terminkalender is the calendar for your appointments. Example sentence, ich trage alle Termine in meinen Terminkalender ein. English translation, I enter all appointments in my appointment calendar.
Next German word is
Rechtzeitig. Pronunciation, rechtzeitig, meaning in English, on time, in good time, before it is too late. How to remember this word? Recht can mean right or correct. Zeit means time. So rechtzeitig is the right time, on time. Example sentence, bitte komm rechtzeitig zum Termin. English translation, please come on time to the appointment.
Next German word is
gründlich. Pronunciation, grünlich, meaning in English, thorough, in a detailed way. How to remember this word? Think of the ground. Gründlich means you go down to the bottom of something. You do it very carefully. Example sentence, Sie putzt die Wohnung immer sehr gründlich. English translation, she always cleans the flat very thoroughly.
Next German word is
Sich entschließen. Pronunciation, sich entschließen. Meaning in English, to decide, to make up one's mind. Forms, entschließt, he decides. Hat sich entschlossen, he has decided. Entschlossen as an adjective means determined. How to remember this word? Entschließen is like closing a door. When you decide, you close other options. Example sentence, entschließt sich in Deutschland zu studieren. English translation, he decides to study in Germany.
Next German word is
Die Halbpension. Pronunciation, die Halbpension. Meaning in English, half board, usually breakfast and one main meal in a hotel. How to remember this word? Halb means half. Pension is a small hotel or boarding house. So Halbpension is half board, half of the meals included. Example sentence, Im Hotel haben wir Halbpension gebucht. English translation, at the hotel we booked half board.
Next German word is
Die Vollpension. Pronunciation, die Vollpension. Meaning in English, full board, all main meals included. How to remember this word? Voll means full. So Vollpension is full board, breakfast, lunch and dinner included. Example sentence, Mit Vollpension müssen wir nichts extra für Essen bezahlen. English translation, with full board we don't have to pay extra for food.
Next German word is
Höchstens. Pronunciation, höchstens. Meaning in English, at most, no more than. How to remember this word? Hoch means high. Höchstens is the highest point allowed, the maximum. Example sentence, Die Fahrt dauert höchstens 2 Stunden. English translation, the journey takes at most 2 hours.
Next German word is
Enthalten sein. Pronunciation, enthalten sein. Meaning in English, to be included, to be contained. How to remember this? Halten means to hold. Enthalten is like held inside. So if something is enthalten, it is inside or included. Example sentence, Frühstück ist im Preis enthalten. English translation, breakfast is included in the price.
Next German word is
Der Kompromiss. Pronunciation, der Kompromiss. Meaning in English, compromise, a mill solution. How to remember this? Kompromiss looks like the English word compromise. Both sides give a little and meet in the middle. Example sentence, Wir müssen einen Kompromiss finden. English translation, we have to find a compromise.
Next German word is
Meinetwegen. Pronunciation, meinetwegen. Meaning in English, as far as I am concerned, for my part, fine by me. How to remember this? Meinetwegen literally means because of me. In everyday speech, it often means I don't mind, it's okay for me. Example sentence, Meinetwegen können wir morgen fahren. English translation, as far as I am concerned, we can leave tomorrow.
Next German word is
Dabei sein. Pronunciation, dabei sein. Meaning in English, to be there, to take part, to join in. How to remember this? Da means there, bei means with. So dabei sein is to be there with others, to be part of something. Example sentence, Bist du morgen bei der Besprechung dabei? English translation, are you going to be at the meeting tomorrow?
Next German word is
Der Einfall. Pronunciation, der Einfall. Meaning in English, idea, sudden thought. How to remember this? Ein means one or in, fallen means to fall, and Einfall is an idea that falls into your head. Example sentence, Das ist ein guter Einfall. English translation, that is a good idea.
Next German word is
Einpacken. Pronunciation, einpacken. Meaning in English, to pack, to wrap up. How to remember this? Ein means in, packen means to pack. So einpacken is to pack things in a bag or box. Example sentence, Ich muss noch die Koffer einpacken. English translation, I still have to pack the suitcases.
Next German word is
Auspacken. Pronunciation, auspacken. Meaning in English, to unpack, to take out of a bag or box. How to remember this? Aus means out. So auspacken is to pack out, to take things out. Example sentence, Nach der Reise packen wir die Taschen aus. English translation, after the trip we unpack the bags. That concludes our travel vocabulary lesson. Auf Wiedersehen.
The next German word is das Ferienhaus. Pronunciation, das Ferienhaus. Meaning in English, holiday home, vacation house. How to remember this word? Ferien means holidays, and Haus means house, so Ferienhaus is the house you use for your holidays. Example sentence: Wir mieten im Sommer ein Ferienhaus am Meer. English translation: In summer, we rent a holiday home by the sea. The next German word is die Hütte. Pronunciation: die Hütte. Meaning in English, hut, cabin, simple, small house. How to remember this word? Think of a small wooden house in the mountains. That cozy little house is a Hütte. Example sentence: Wir übernachten in einer kleinen Hütte in den Bergen. English translation: We spend the night in a small hut in the mountains. The next German word is die Badewanne. Pronunciation: die Badewanne. Meaning in English, bathtub. How to remember this word? Baden means to bathe. Wanne means tub. So Badewanne is literally the tub where you take a bath. Example sentence: Das Hotelzimmer hat eine große Badewanne. English translation: The hotel room has a big bathtub. The next German phrase is im Freien übernachten. Pronunciation: im Freien übernachten. Meaning in English, to sleep outdoors, to spend the night outside. How to remember this phrase? Frei means free or open. Im Freien is the open air. Übernachten means to stay somewhere for the night. Example sentence: Wir möchten einmal im Freien übernachten und die Sterne sehen. English translation: We would like to sleep outdoors once and see the stars. The next German word is zelten. Pronunciation: Zelt, ten. Meaning in English, to camp in a tent. How to remember this verb? Zelt means tent. Zelten is the activity, staying and sleeping in a tent on holiday. Example sentence: Am Wochenende zelten wir mit Freunden am See. English translation: At the weekend we camp with friends at the lake. The next German word is aufbauen. Pronunciation: aufbauen. Meaning in English, to build up, to set up, for example, a tent. How to remember this verb? Bauen means to build. Auf means up. So aufbauen is to build something up, to put it together. Example sentence: Wir bauen zuerst das Zelt auf und dann kochen wir. English translation: First we set up the tent and then we cook. The next German words are der Ausblick and die Aussicht. Pronunciation: Der Ausblick, die Aussicht. Meaning in English, view, outlook, scenery. How to remember these words? Blick means look, Sicht means sight, Aus means out, so both words describe what you see when you look out. Example sentence: Die Aussicht vom Ferienhaus auf das Meer ist herrlich. English translation: The view from the holiday home of the sea is wonderful. The next German word is herrlich. Pronunciation: herrlich. Meaning in English, wonderful, gorgeous, delightful. How to remember this word? Think of a hare, a lord or gentleman, enjoying something very beautiful. Herrlich is something so nice it feels royal. Example sentence: Das Wetter ist heute einfach herrlich. English translation: The weather today is simply wonderful. The next German word is schick. Pronunciation: schick. Meaning in English, stylish, chic, smartly dressed. How to remember this word? Chic looks like the word chic. Use it for clothes, restaurants, or hotels that look elegant. Example sentence: Das ist ein sehr schickes Hotel am Strand. English translation: That is a very stylish hotel by the beach. The next German word is der Aufenthalt. Pronunciation: der Aufenthalt. Meaning in English, stay, the time you spend in a place. How to remember this word? Halten means to hold or stop. Aufenthalt is the period where you stop and stay somewhere. Example sentence: Unser Aufenthalt im Ferienhaus war sehr entspannend. English translation: Our stay in the holiday home was very relaxing. The next German phrase is vorbei sein. Pronunciation: vorbei sein. Meaning in English, to be over, to be finished. How to remember this phrase? Vorbei means past. When something is vorbei, it is in the past. It is over. Example sentence: Der Aufenthalt im Ferienhaus ist viel zu schnell vorbei. English translation: The stay in the holiday home is over far too quickly. Today's German word is das Urlaubsziel. Pronunciation: das Urlaubsziel. Meaning in English, holiday destination, vacation destination. How to remember this word: Urlaub means holiday. Ziel means goal or destination. So Urlaubsziel is the place where you want to go on holiday. Example sentence: Unser Urlaubsziel ist dieses Jahr Italien. English translation: Our holiday destination this year is Italy. The next German word is die Entfernung. Pronunciation: die Entfernung. Meaning in English: distance. How to remember this word: Entfernen means to remove or move away. Entfernung is how far something is away from you. Example sentence: Die Entfernung zum Urlaubsziel beträgt 300 Kilometer. English translation: The distance to the holiday destination is 300 kilometers. The next German word is die Fahrzeit. Pronunciation: die Fahrzeit. Meaning in English: travel time, time of the journey. How to remember this word: Fahrt means trip or ride. Zeit means time. Fahrzeit is the time your trip takes. Example sentence: Die Fahrzeit mit dem Auto liegt bei etwa 3 Stunden. English translation: The travel time by car is about 3 hours. The next German word is gegen, used with time. Pronunciation: gegen. Meaning in English: around, about, approximately for time. How to remember this use: With time, gegen means not exactly, but close to a clock time. Example sentence: Wir kommen gegen 18 Uhr im Ferienhaus an. English translation: We arrive at the holiday home at around 6 p.m. The next German word is der Kofferraum. Pronunciation: der Kofferraum. Meaning in English: trunk of a car, car boot. How to remember this word: Koffer means suitcase. Raum means space or room. Kofferraum is the space for suitcases in the car. Example sentence: Alle Koffer passen problemlos in den Kofferraum. English translation: All the suitcases easily fit in the trunk. The next German word is die Schifffahrt. Pronunciation: die Schifffahrt. Meaning in English: boat trip, cruise, journey by ship. How to remember this word: Schiff means ship or boat. Fahrt means trip. Schifffahrt is a trip by ship. Example sentence: Eine Schifffahrt auf dem Fluss ist unser Lieblingsurlaubsprogramm. English translation: A boat trip on the river is our favorite holiday activity. The next German word is das Boot. Pronunciation: das Boot. Meaning in English: boat. How to remember this word: Das Boot looks almost exactly like the English word boat. Just remember the German article, das. Example sentence: Wir mieten ein kleines Boot für die Schifffahrt. English translation: We rent a small boat for the boat trip. Today's German word is die Alm. Pronunciation: die Alm. Meaning in English: alpine pasture, mountain meadow with cows and a hut. How to remember this word: Think of a green meadow high in the Alps with cows, a small hut, and a great view. Example sentence: Auf der Alm ist die Luft frisch und sauber. English translation: On the alpine pasture, the air is fresh and clean. The next German word is die Kuh. Pronunciation: die Kuh. Meaning in English: cow. How to remember this word: It sounds like a cow that says moo. Just remember, in German the cow is feminine, die Kuh. Example sentence: Viele Kühe stehen auf der Alm und fressen Gras. English translation: Many cows stand on the alpine pasture and eat grass. The next German word is der Wanderer. Pronunciation: der Wanderer. Meaning in English: hiker, person who goes walking in nature. How to remember this word: Wandern means to hike. A Wanderer is the person who does the hiking. Example sentence: Der Wanderer macht eine Pause auf der Alm. English translation: The hiker takes a break on the alpine pasture. The next German word is das Gebirge. Pronunciation: das Gebirge. Meaning in English: mountain range, group of mountains. How to remember this word: Think of many Berge, many mountains, together. This big group is called das Gebirge. Example sentence: Das Gebirge sieht im Sonnenuntergang sehr beeindruckend aus. English translation: The mountain range looks very impressive at sunset. The next German word is der Himmel. Pronunciation: der Himmel. meaning in English, sky, or heaven, depending on context. How to remember this word? Imagine lying in the grass and looking up. Everything you see above you is der Himmel. Example sentence: Der Himmel über dem Gebirge ist heute ganz klar. English translation: The sky above the mountains is completely clear today.
The next German word is
Die Wiese. Pronunciation: die Wiese. Meaning in English, meadow, grassy field. How to remember this word? Think of a green field with flowers. That soft, grassy place is a Wiese. Example sentence: Die Kinder spielen auf der Wiese neben der Alm. English translation: The children are playing in the meadow next to the alpine pasture.
The next German word is
Die Traube. Pronunciation: die Traube. Meaning in English, grape. How to remember this word? Think of a bunch of grapes used for wine. Each small fruit is eine Traube. Example sentence: Die Trauben im Garten sind schon sehr süß. English translation: The grapes in the garden are already very sweet.
The next German word is
Reif. Pronunciation: reif. Meaning in English, ripe, ready to eat. How to remember this word? Reif sounds like ripe. Use it for fruit that is ready to be picked and eaten. Example sentence: Die Trauben sind reif und können geerntet werden. English translation: The grapes are ripe and can be harvested.
Nächste deutsche Wort ist brennen. Pronunzierung: brennen. Meaning in English, to burn, to be on fire, or to sting on the skin. How to remember this word? Brennen sounds a bit like burn. Use it when a fire burns or when your eyes or skin are burning. Example sentence: Die Sonne brennt heute sehr stark. English translation: The sun is burning very strongly today. Next German word ist hat gebrannt. Pronunciation: hat gebrannt. Meaning in English, has burned, was burning. How to remember this form? It is the perfect tense of brennen. Brennen in the past becomes es hat gebrannt. Example sentence: Das Feuer hat die ganze Nacht gebrannt. English translation: The fire burned all night. Next German word ist giftig. Pronunciation: giftig. Meaning in English, poisonous, toxic, dangerous if you eat or touch it. How to remember this word? Gift in German means poison, not a present. Giftig ist full of poison, so poisonous. Example sentence: Manche Pilze sind giftig, iss sie nicht. English translation: Some mushrooms are poisonous, don't eat them. Next German word is das Insekt. Pronunciation: das Insekt. Meaning in English, insect, small animal like a fly, bee, or mosquito. How to remember this word? It almost looks like the English word insect. Just remember the article, das Insekt. Example sentence: Ein Insekt hat mich am Arm gestochen. English translation: An insect stung me on the arm. Next German word is der Schutz. Pronunciation: der Schutz. Meaning in English, protection, something that keeps you safe. How to remember this word? Think of a helmet or sunscreen. Both give you Schutz, they protect you. Example sentence: Sonnencreme ist ein guter Schutz vor der Sonne. English translation: Sun cream is good protection from the sun. Next German word is das Netz. Pronunciation: das Netz. Meaning in English, net, mesh, or network, depending on context. How to remember this word? Think of a mosquito net over the bed or a fishing net in the water. Example sentence: Wir hängen ein Netz vor das Fenster als Schutz vor Insekten. English translation: We hang a net in front of the window as protection from insects. Next German word is die Einsamkeit. Pronunciation: die Einsamkeit. Meaning in English, loneliness, the state of feeling alone. How to remember this word? Einsam means lonely. The ending keit makes it a noun. Einsamkeit, the feeling of being lonely. Example sentence:
In der großen Stadt kann man trotz vieler Menschen Einsamkeit fühlen. English translation: In big city you can feel loneliness despite many people. Next German word ist einsam. Einsam. Meaning in English: lonely, feeling alone. How to remember this word? Ein means one. Einsam is like one person alone, without company. Example sentence: Ohne Freunde fühlt sie sich im Urlaub sehr einsam. English translation: Without friends, she feels very lonely on holiday. Nächstes deutsche Wort ist der Empfang. Pronunzierung: der Empfang. Meaning in English: reception, for example, phone signal or the reception desk in a hotel. How to remember this word? Think of your phone. Guter Empfang means good signal. In einem Hotel, Empfang ist where guests check in. Example sentence: Auf der Alm haben wir keinen Empfang mit dem Handy. English translation: On the alpine pasture, we have no reception with the mobile phone. Nächste deutsche Phrase ist weg sein. Pronunzierung: weg sein. Meaning in English: to be gone, to be away, not there anymore. How to remember this phrase? Weg means away. If something is weg, it has disappeared or is no longer here. Example sentence: Das Netz ist weg, ich habe keinen Empfang mehr. English translation: The network is gone, I have no reception anymore. Nächstes deutsche Wort ist das Heimweh. Pronunciation: das Heimweh. Meaning in English: homesickness, the pain of missing home. How to remember this word? Heim means home, weh means pain or ache. So Heimweh ist home pain, the feeling when you miss home. Example sentence: Nach 2 Wochen im Ausland habe ich starkes Heimweh. English translation: After 2 weeks abroad, I have strong homesickness. Next German verb is sich erkälten. Pronunciation: sich erkälten. Meaning in English: to catch a cold, to get a cold. How to remember this verb? Kalt means cold. When you get too kalt, without a jacket, you can sich erkälten. Example sentence: Zieh eine Jacke an, sonst erkältest du dich im Freien. English translation: Put on a jacket, otherwise you will catch a cold outside. Nächstes deutsche Wort: das Abenteuer. Pronunzierung: das A-ben-teu-er. Meaning in English: adventure, exciting trip or experience. How to remember this word? Think of something new and a little bit risky, a trip or activity that feels like a story. That is ein Abenteuer. Example sentence: Die Wanderung in den Bergen war ein echtes Abenteuer. English translation: The hike in the mountains was a real adventure. Nächstes deutsche Wort ist das Erlebnis. Das Erlebnis. Experience, something special that happens to you. Erleben means to experience. Erlebnis ist der konkrete Ding du erlebt hast. Ein Beispiel: Die Schifffahrt bei Sonnenuntergang war ein tolles Erlebnis. The boat trip at sunset was a great experience. Next word is entspannend. Pronunciation: entspannend. Meaning in English: relaxing, helping you to rest. How to remember this word? Entspannen means to relax. Entspannend describes something that makes you feel calm. Example sentence: Das Baden in der warmen Badewanne ist sehr entspannend. English translation: Bathing in the warm bathtub is very relaxing. Next German word is angenehm. Pronunciation: angenehm. Meaning in English: pleasant, comfortable, nice. How to remember this word? Think of a situation that feels friendly and soft, not too hot and not too cold. That is angenehm. Example sentence: Die Temperatur im Zimmer ist sehr angenehm. English translation: The temperature in the room is very pleasant.
Next German verb ist sich erholen. Pronunciation: sich erholen. Meaning in English: to recover, to rest, to recharge. How to remember this verb? After work or stress, you need Urlaub. You need time to erholen, to get your energy back. Example sentence: Im Urlaub möchte ich mich richtig erholen. English translation: On holiday, I really want to recover. Next German verb ist faulenzen. Pronunzierung: V-len-zen. Meaning in English: to laze around, to do nothing, to just relax. How to remember this verb? Faul means lazy. Faulenzen is the activity of being lazy on purpose. Example sentence: Am Strand faulenze ich gern in der Sonne. English translation: On the beach I like to laze in the sun. Next German verb ist spazieren. Pronunciation: spa-zi-ren. Meaning in English: to go for a walk, to stroll. How to remember this verb? Often used with gehen. Spazieren gehen means to go walking for pleasure, not to hurry. Example sentence: Abends spazieren wir an der Strandpromenade. English translation: In the evening we go for a walk on the beach promenade. Next German word is der Pilz. Pronunciation: der Pilz. Meaning in English: mushroom. How to remember this word? Think of small mushrooms in the forest after rain. Each one is ein Pilz. Example sentence: Im Wald finden wir viele Pilze, aber einige sind giftig. English translation: In the forest we find many mushrooms, but some are poisonous. Next German verb is vorbeikommen. Pronunciation: vorbeikommen. Meaning in English: to come by, to pass by, to visit for a short time. How to remember this verb? Vorbei means past, kommen means to come. So vorbeikommen is to come past, to drop by. Example sentence: Komm doch morgen auf einen Kaffee bei mir vorbei. English translation: Come by my place tomorrow for a coffee. Nächste deutsche Phrase ist begeistert sein. Begeistert sein. To be excited, enthusiastic, really happy about something. Imagine your Geist, your spirit, is full of energy. Then you are begeistert, totally excited. Sie ist begeistert von ihrem neuen Urlaubsziel. She is excited about her new holiday destination. Nächste German phrase ist gut gelaunt sein. Gut gelaunt sein. Meaning in English: to be in a good mood, cheerful and happy. How to remember this phrase? Laune means mood. Gelaunt is in a mood. Gut gelaunt means in a good mood. Example sentence: Nach dem Spaziergang am Strand sind alle gut gelaunt. English translation: After the walk on the beach, everyone is in a good mood. Nächste deutsche Phrase ist zufrieden sein. Zufrieden sein. Meaning in English: to be satisfied, content, happy enough with something. Zufrieden ist eine calme, quiete kind of happy, not super excited, but everything feels okay. Wir sind sehr zufrieden mit unserem Hotelaufenthalt. Nächste German phrase ist genervt sein. Genervt sein. Meaning in English: to be annoyed, irritated, fed up. How to remember this phrase? Think of your nerves. When something goes on your nerves, you feel genervt. Example sentence: Er ist genervt, weil die Fahrzeit viel länger ist als geplant. English translation: He is annoyed because the travel time is much longer than planned. Next German phrase is enttäuscht sein. Pronunciation: enttäuscht seine. meaning in English, to be disappointed, because reality is worse than you hoped. How to remember this phrase? Täuschung is a deception. Enttäuscht is like the illusion is gone and you feel let down. Example sentence: Sie ist enttäuscht, weil es Ferienhaus kleiner ist als auf den Fotos. English translation: She is disappointed because the holiday home is smaller than in the photos.
Next phrases: verzweifelt sein. Verzweifelt seine. Meaning in English: to be desperate, to see no solution, very hopeless. How to remember this phrase? Think of someone looking for a way out, but finding none. Then the person is verzweifelt. Example sentence: Nach vielen Flugausfällen ist sie völlig verzweifelt. English translation: After many flight cancellations, she is completely desperate.